I'm feeling so alive right now. I feel like I can fly, like I can touch the sky right now. I guess I got my head in the clouds. Right now, right now, right now, right now. I'm not fazed by the things you gotta say. I guess I got my head in the clouds.
Aloha, my name is the Grand Ball, and welcome to my first of many countdowns. Now, if you can't tell from my channel, I love Death Battle. That's pretty much a big part of my channel. And while this season of Death Battle did give us some great battles, holy shit! Thanos vs. Darkseid! Let's go! There are some fights that still haven't happened yet. Are all these battles gonna come true? Probably not. But though it does get the mind thinking. Anyway, this list is going to have a few rules. First, no rematches. That's a topic for another day. Second, the characters have to be similar in more than one way. And last but not least, no characters from the same universe. With all that being said, let's get started. Number 10. When it comes to Death Battle, one franchise has a spotty win-loss record, and that being Pokemon. Now, any of the Pocket Monsters could have made it on this list, but one has been on my mind for a while, and that's the armored Pokemon, Tyranitar. But who's a good challenge for him? Let's spin the wheel and see what we gonna get. Oh, Naga. What? But what about Tyronomon from Digimon? Sorry to say, but that fight seemed really unfair to me. I mean, it's a Pokemon versus a Digimon. We all know how that would turn out. And Aggron and Tyrantrum were basically just placeholders. So that just leaves Onaga, Dragon King from Mortal Kombat. This fight is pretty evenly matched if you think about it. Both are respectively dragons, or at least dragon looking, and both have a wide variety of attacks. Onaga having his martial arts and pyrokinetics, and Tyranitar with his elemental attacks. Tyranitar does have the advantage with its hidden ability, that being Sandstorm. This allows Tyranitar to summon a sandstorm at will, basically blinding Onaga in the process. He also has the advantage when it comes to the raw versatility, with moves like Ice Fang, Dark Pulse, Stone Edge, and even Earthquake. That doesn't mean Onaga is entirely outclassed, however, as he has thousands of years of experience, easily giving him the advantage in that category. He also has the advantage when it comes to leading an army, giving him the advantage as well in strategic planning. I'd also give him the speed advantage as well, mainly because Tyranitar is pretty slow, and also his flight gives him better mobility. Tyranitar, however, has the advantage in raw strength, as most of its Pokédex entries state that it can level a mountain or a massive amount of land. Tyranitar is also so durable that it can shake off hits from Mewtwo. Let's also not forget that Tyranitar can Mega Evolve as well. Considering that it isn't a Pokemon versus a Digimon, Mega Evolution is without a question still in consideration. In the end though, I'd have to go with Tyranitar for the victory, as his superior strength, durability, and versatility would overwhelm Onaga. Not only that, he could just Mega Evolve and kill Onaga that way, while Onaga would be hard pressed in putting this wannabe Godzilla down. Number 9. Now, when making this list, I had to get creative. And what's more creative than cartoons? In the corner, we have Jimmy Neutron, and who's he gonna fight? let's spin the wheel and see who it's gonna be. Dexter. Rick Sanchez is far too technologically advanced for Jimmy to realistically handle. Plankton was another option, but I don't really like the visual aesthetic of the fight. Hero. That just leaves Dexter. This fight is actually pretty close. Both are boy geniuses, and both can make gadgets from literally nothing. Both also have incredible arsenals as well. Dexter, being a cartoon character, has what I like to call cartoon logic, meaning he has superhuman strength, speed, and of course, durability. Dexter's main advantage being his advanced intellect, that gives him the ability to make the impossible possible, like a potion that turns you into a monster, a mind swapper, a pen that hypnotizes people, and of course, his wrench. Dexter also has several mechs or ride armors he can use. Jimmy also has some impressive gadgets as well, such as his shrink ray, a rocket ship, sticky shoes, food that heals wounds, and Goddard, his robotic dog that helps him out of sticky situations. He also has an ability known as Brain Blast. This lets him make a new invention on the fly with what he has, like a jetpack or whipped cream that literally can cut through brick. Also, in Attack of the Toybots, he's responsible for making several mechs. All have basically the same weapons, guns, lasers, and of course a super shot. He even has an invention that can turn you into cheese. Yes, I am not making this up. For this fight, I think Dexter has the more destructive weaponry. But what I think really decides this fight is whose gadgets can counter whose. And fortunately, Jimmy's gadgets do just that. So in the end, I'd have to go with Jimmy for the victory, as his greater versatility, experience, and is more level-headed of the two, which could possibly counter Dexter's stubborn attitude. I really hope this fight becomes a reality, because we need more wacky death battles like this. But hey, man can dream. Number 8. And now back to the semi-normacy of video games. And who can talk about video games more than one of the biggest video games of the year? That's right, I'm talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Specifically, one of its biggest reveals of E3 2018. Or at least biggest character revealed. Get it? He's too big. That's right, I'm talking about Ridley. And if you have been on my channel since the beginning, you may know where I'm going with this. But for those who don't know, let's spin the wheel and let me show you what I'm talking about. Rayquaza. Firebrand didn't have enough information for me to do an entire fight on him, so that's a no. Megatron is far too durable and overpowered for Ridley to realistically handle. And same can be said for Grimlock. That means the only option being Rayquaza. Not only does he fit the aesthetic of the fight, he's also pretty similar stat-wise. Ridley is constantly shown that he can destroy entire ships and even hills with his plasma breath, and Rayquaza is shown as well being able to go up against Pokemon that can literally reshape planets. Of course, Ridley wouldn't be so deadly without a deadly arsenal. He has Sharp Claws, Fire Breath, his recently mentioned Plasma Breath, his tail, and a powerful Ground Pound. Rayquaza also has a pretty unique move pool as well, such as Outrage, Ancient Power, Ice Beam, Dragon Claw, and the most destructive move in Pokemon history, Hyper Beam. There's also his signature move, which is Dragon Ascent. Besides Arsenal, both are seen to be pretty fast as well. Ridley is seen being able to travel between planets. It's also implied that Rayquaza can move that fast as well, but I think we can get a bit more specific here. It's time for some quick maths. Rayquaza was fast enough to keep up with Deoxys, The same Deoxys who was fast enough to keep up with Mewtwo. The same Mewtwo that was fast enough to reach escape velocity, over 25,000 miles per hour, according to Death Battle. But that's as Mega Mewtwo. But when a Pokemon Mega evolves, it stands still. So that means its normal speed is around 12,500 miles per hour, at minimum, or a general estimate. Now that doesn't mean Ridley is entirely outclassed, as I would give him the edge in strength and intelligence. His Plasma Breath has shown to be able to blow up mountains and even hills like nothing. He is also shown to be quite intelligent. I mean, he's the space pirate captain after all. Of course he has to be intelligent. As for who I think who would win, this one I'm not sure of, honestly. So I'm gonna let you guys decide in the comments below. Who do you think would win, Ridley or Rayquaza? I know it seems like a cop-out not to just say who would win myself, but it's my list. In my opinion, I just don't know who's gonna win. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on. Number 7. While we're on the topic of video games still, how about we talk about the game of the year of 2017? That's right, we're talking about Overwatch. Now, if you've been on my channel since the beginning, I've done a few Overwatch gameplay videos, but honestly, I couldn't give a single flying fuck about Overwatch anymore. As a game though, as a story, it's really good and complex. You probably know where I'm going with this. For those who saw the first teaser for this video, you know that the first character I leaked was Genji. But who's a good opponent for him? I think it's obvious, but let's spin the wheel and see who it is. Master Yi. Raiden is far too durable and overpowered for Genji to realistically handle. Blake is far too fast and strong for Genji to also handle as well. Grievous is actually a fight I would like to see, and after thinking about it, I would love to see that fight. Just not as much as I would like to see Genji versus Master Yi. The reason I'd like to see Master Yi versus Genji more is that 1, Yi fits the visual aesthetic of the fight, and 2, their powers are pretty similar as well. Respectively, both are cybernetic warriors and or swordsmen, whether it be they are ninjas or samurai. Weapons wise, Genji has his shurikens, a smaller blade known as a Shoto sword, and his katana. To counter this, Yi has a really big katana. Nah, Yi's strength doesn't come from his sword, mainly from his wise mind and master of Wuju, a power earned by balancing the mind or something, I don't know. This gives him the power to heal wounds and even increase his striking power. These moves, Wuju style and meditation, can come in handy in certain situations. While Genji doesn't have any attack raising abilities, he makes up for it with agility and his ninja reflexes, allowing him to climb walls and double jump. Not only that though, this gives him some incredible reaction time and speed. The dude's so fast, he can reflect Lucio's sound wave blasts and Widowmaker's sniper rifle rounds. And keep in mind too, sniper rifle rounds can travel from 800 to 1,000 meters per second. Meaning that Genji was fast enough to reflect the shot moving around 2,236.94 miles per hour. That's twice the speed of sound. He's not only quick, but also strong as well. He's strong enough to reflect a shot from Zarya's cannon. You know, the big ass railgun that was ripped from a freaking tank? Yeah, that one. He also has his ability Swift Strike, which basically is a swift strike to the opponent, and if it kills them, he gets another one for free. Genji also has his ultimate, Dragon's Blade, which is disgusting if used correctly, but really easy to waste. For simplicity's sake, I'll just say he has the strength advantage here, because it's getting pretty long. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be an entire win for Genji, as Mastery can actually probably match and even surpass Genji in most categories. For starter, I'd give him the speed advantage. When he uses the move Double Strike, he moves so fast you can't even see him. According to Death Battle, that's equivalent to over 9,000 miles per hour. Not only that though, his many years of experience give him the advantage in training and experience. What I think decides this fight is powers and abilities, and unfortunately mastery takes the cake over that, as his powers to heal and gain more power could easily overwhelm Genji. Plus, the reason his abilities are so deadly is because if they hit, they can actually have an extra effect on it. For example, raising his power or allowing him to do a bonus attack. And considering he's speed, it's most likely he'd have an easier time hitting Genji than Genji would have hitting him. So in the end, I'd have to go with mastery for the victory, as his greater speed, powers, experience, and techniques would ultimately overwhelm Genji in the end. And if you think about it, this fight is actually like Silver Samurai versus the Shredder, where both could take the pain and both had the durability, but no, one is much faster than the other, meaning that one can land the deadlier blow first. I think that's enough of that. How about we get to comic books next? Number 6. Now, so far we've done mainly video game death battles on this list, but of course it wouldn't be a death battle list without a comic book character getting on here. Martian Manhunter is stepping up to the plate, and we're gonna see who he's gonna fight. Let's spin the wheel! Vision. Wait, what? What about Piccolo? Piccolo fits the aesthetic of the fight, but he would definitely get destroyed by Manhunter's feats, so he really doesn't stand a chance at all. I didn't go with Silver Surfer because I didn't really know much about him, nor do I actually care about him as a character. I don't hate him, but I just don't really care much about him. That leaves only one option, Vision. And Vision actually may be an even match for Manhunter. Are you starting to notice the trend here? Anyway, their powers are so similar, it's ridiculous. Both have superhuman strength, speed, durability, and can phase through objects. Oh yeah, they can also read minds as well. However though, Vision's powers mainly come from the Mind Stone embedded into his head, while Manhunter's powers are pretty much because of his race. Both are also able to shoot concussive blasts, whether it be from their eyes or their hands, in Vision's case. Manhunter also has the ability to shapeshift as well. He can pretty much shapeshift into anything, from a giant snake to a squid to whatever this is, really, I don't know what it is. And that may be one of few differences between the two. Not only that though, they actually even each other out in more than many ways that matter. For example, when Martian Manhunter helps Superman and Wonder Stripper pull Earth into orbit. Now, Death Battle has stated that they basically split it up between the three, so each one lifted around 2.2 quintillion tons. That may seem like Martian Manhunter has the advantage when it comes to raw strength, but Vision has survived hits much stronger than that. In the comics, Vision survived a hit from Count Nefaria, who is said to be stronger than Thor. Now, in that death battle, Thor vs. Wonder Woman, they stated that his strength was around the trillions, but Death Battle has contradicted themselves in Ultron vs. Sigma, where they stated,
"When Thor fought Gore the God Butcher, their battle created shockwaves powerful enough to shatter planets thousands of miles away. This could only be possible with a force equivalent to 682 septillion tons of TNT.
So that shows Vision can survive hits of over 300 times stronger than anything Manhunter has done. When it comes to the speed though, that's a bit tricky, but from what I've seen, I'd give the edge to Manhunter, since he's able to keep up with people with light speed capabilities, while that's very rare in the Marvel Universe. I think the reason I like this matchup is because it's so close, as both characters only have one weakness in particular. Manhunter's being fire, and Vision's being the destruction of the Mind Stone. So this fight ultimately comes down to who can exploit whose weakness first and much faster. This is where I'm going to sound biased, but I think Vision would have a much easier time exploiting Manhunter's weakness more than Manhunter would have exploiting Vision's weakness. The reason I say that is because the other stones, the other Infinity Stones, have shown they can take hits from cosmic beings. In order to break one of those things, you need to either A, have magic, or B, be Thanos. It's very unlikely that Manhunter has shown strength like Thanos has, and it's very unlikely he could break the stone. So that's why I say Vision will win, because he could just use his concussive blast to weaken Manhunter and then just set him on fire with them. I know Martian Manhunter has survived an antimatter blast, but fire and antimatter are completely different things. One turns things into ashes while the other thing just completely obliterates the other one. I believe Vision would win this fight, as he has the superior durability, power, and his Mind Stone would give him the edge over Manhunter. By the way, just to let everyone know, this is the only Marvel vs. DC fight on this list. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there, because I did not want to fill this up with just Marvel vs. DC fights. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on. Number 5. Wow, we're only at number 5 and we're just now getting to an anime death battle. I know I can hardly believe it myself, but it must be a good one if it's high up. Well, kinda. You already may know this matchup, so I'm just gonna get to it. Genos is now stepping into the ring, so let's see who he's gonna fight. Bakugo. Cyborg is far too overpowered for Genos to realistically handle. Mettaton was pretty much a placeholder, and also due to the fact that I couldn't find enough information on him to do a proper death battle on him. And since I personally don't give a damn about Ruby, Penny was off the table as well. Bakugo is a better matchup because the aesthetic of the fight and their powers are actually very similar. Both are teenagers, both have fire powers, and both are blonde. Really, there's not much to say about this. Genos' is more of a activation power, while Bakugo's is,
Since you're such a stalker, by now you probably know how my quirk explosion works. I secrete nitroglycerin like sweat from my hand to make it blow up.
Yeah, that. Another one of the big differences between the two is that only one can be physically harmed, that being Genos. Not only that though, I like this fight because it's how funny, how one-sided this entire fight is half the time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Genos has pretty much every advantage in the book. Okay, it's not that one-sided. Bakugo does have the advantage when it comes to durability because he survived hits from All Might. Okay, if you don't believe that Genos is broken, let me do some breaking down for you. Genos, with one blast from his hands, destroyed the Tower of Evolution, which is classified as a skyscraper. This skyscraper had 8 floors in it. Now if you remember from Death Battle, they said a skyscraper floor weighs around 1,000 tons at minimum. So that means Genos erased a 8,000 ton skyscraper in one blast, while Bakugo's biggest blast was equivalent to at least 700 tons. However though, Genos has the advantage when it comes to raw speed. Multiple times we have seen Genos move faster than the human eye can track. That's around 9,000 miles per hour. While it's true, Bakugo can move most likely Mach 5 speeds over 3,000 miles per hour, but Genos has shown that he can move with 3 times that pretty much. Not only that though, I'd give Genos the range advantage as well, as he has the ability to shoot concussive blasts of fire out of his hands like it's a machine gun. Anyway, with all that being said, that's why I think Genos would win this fight, as he has the superior strength, speed, and versatility at his disposal. I know I didn't go into much detail about this fight, but with those last two before this entry, I honestly am just tired out from all the talking. So let's move on to someone else. Number 4. Now, so far, most of the picks on this list weren't as controversial. but this one most definitely is definitely gonna hit the edge of it. The second character I leaked for this top 10 was the Imp from PvZ Garden Warfare 2. But who's a suitable matchup for him? Let's spin the wheel and see who it is. D.Va. And this is where the controversy starts. I know a lot of people have been wanting D.Va versus Tron Bonnie, but I have a lot of issues with that fight. One, I don't know much about Tron Bonnie to say it's going to be one of my favorite matchups. And two, I've actually been wanting this fight for quite a while now. And plus, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense in my head. And plus, it's my list. I don't know much about the Titanfall Titans, so really, I didn't want to go with that matchup either. Hero. D.Va is a better matchup for Imp because of the visual aesthetic, and plus, their weapons are very similar. Though Imp does have a few extra weapons than D.Va does. Both are child-looking characters that ride mechs, that have weapons on them, and both have the main weapon they have, that being a pistol. Anyway, Imp wields the dual pistols from Fortnite, rapid fire Imp blasters. He also has an anti-gravity grenade, and it seems like he's been taking some breakdancing classes, because he also has a dance move called the Imkata. To get around faster, he also has a jetpack. This makes him one of the most fastest and the most mobile character in the game. And also the weakest, only having 75 HP compared to the other classes. To counter this, D.Va has a pistol that does way more damage than it should. Now, D.Va's power doesn't come from her weapons. It mostly comes from her mech. Her mech has the ability to absorb and even reflect projectiles back at the opponent if shot at. Her mech also has jet boosters in it, allowing flight and allowing her to get the high ground really fast. And her ultimate, Nerf This, is pretty much a self-destruction that has a ridiculously huge area of an explosion. Imp also has his own kind of mech. Well, actually he has several mechs. Imp's mech is probably one of the most destructive mechs I've ever seen. Not only does it have a minigun for its basic weapon, but it also has a ground pound that hurts an area around him. Oh yeah, and a button that spews missiles everywhere. That's just one type of mech he has. He also has several different variants he can use, with different weapons on them. He has a dragon mech that spews fire and creates like a smoke shield. I'm not sure what the fuck it does. A mech that's a shrimp that can dive bomb people and create whirlpools to suck people in. Or my personal favorite, the Z7 mech suit. If Mass Effect was like this mech, I would love Mass Effect. Because this mech is disgustingly good. Not only does it have the ever so much in minigun, it also has a tractor beam that can actually pull people in, and a giant fucking laser sword. It don't matter what kind of plant you are, you're going to get cut in half. For simplicity's sake, I'll say Imp has the mobility advantage and the destructive capability advantage, while D.Va has speed and countering capabilities. Anyway, with that being said, I'd have to go with Imp for the victory, as he has the more destructive weapons, and can definitely outpace D.Va in certain areas. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail at all in this fight, but I mean, there really isn't much on these characters to go off of. But yeah, it still would be a pretty fun fight if this were to happen. Probably is going to be Tron Bonnie versus D.Va, but hey, a man can dream. Number 3. Now that we're done with that, how about we get back to anime? Well, kinda. It's more like a video game that looks like an anime. That's right, you guessed it correctly, we're talking about Ashura's Wrath. Specifically, Ashura himself. But who's so strong and so powerful to take on Ashura? Well, let's spin the wheel and I will show you. Broly. For me, Hulk had the short end of the stick for this. Pretty much, he was outmatched by Ashura's, well, everything. And sadly, Antrostus did not have enough information on him for me to do a death battle. Shocker, I know. Broly seemed like a much more evenly matched character for Ashura to handle just because they both use anger in combat and both are galaxy busters. Not only that though, with Broly, this could probably be one of the most destructive death battles I think we've ever had, besides Thanos versus Darkseid. And how ridiculous some of these feats get is pretty much why it landed number 3 on the list. Ashura has your basic powers that any god would have, godly strength, speed, and durability, and also a couple super forms. But what gives him this strength is the mantra of wrath, which also modifies his godly strength tenfold. Broly also has the same powers as Ashura, minus the mantra of wrath, and the addition of super armor, basically making him a tank. He can fire ki blasts out of his hands and create a force field that's actually strong enough to reflect 3 Kamehamehas. But though being a Saiyan, he also has the power to become a Super Saiyan. But though he's gone beyond that. Thanks to a hatred of Goku, he's pushed the boundaries of the Super Saiyan to the extreme, basically making him an omnipotent god. Also, you may think the guy would be slow because of how bulky he is, but that doesn't slow him down at all, considering that he moves at blinding speeds and can even travel between galaxies. The Milky Way galaxy is about the size of 52,000 light years. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. This means Broly was moving around 3.1 quintillion miles per hour. Broly's strong enough to go against 4 Super Saiyans at once, destroy a moon with one blast, and destroy entire galaxies. However, though, all of these feats are because of the Super Saiyan form, which is I like to refer to as Super Saiyan Green. But Broly has one devastating move that makes him so deadly. It's known as the Mega Blaster. This is a homing projectile that can blow up planets, pretty much. Besides Super Saiyan Green, Broly also has different super forms, depending on the candidacy. Just like Goku, he has a Super Saiyan 3 form and a Super Saiyan 4 form. While Super Saiyan 4 is not canon, it's still worth mentioning. He also has a Great Ape form, apparently. Ashura also has several different super forms. There's Varja Ashura, his first form. This form is strong enough to repel Wizen while he's in his planet-busting form. And Wizen, in this form, could literally crush the planet like a snowball. There's his Berserker form, which gives him 4 arms, 2 regular-sized arms, and 2 giant super-sized arms. And after absorbing the mantra of wrath, he gained a new form, Mantra Ashura. While this form doesn't give him any extra arms, it does give him increased power and definitely an increase in defense. Then there's his biggest form, Ashura the Destructor. This form is twice as big as Earth and can fly fast enough to dodge galaxies. Not go through galaxies, dodge galaxies. This puts him twice as fast as Broly, over 6.2 decillion miles per hour. Just real quick, it's important to note that both may be strong, they both have some really stupid weaknesses. Ashura being the fact that he can be broken down piece by piece, and Broly's being that he has a little spot in his abdomen that can be pretty much crushed, killing him instantly. Besides stupid weakness, they both are pretty close when it came to strength. Ashura's greatest strength feat came from when he was fighting Wizen. When Wizen grew twice the size of the planet, he decided to jam his finger down on Ashura. Ashura then replied by knocking the finger back, causing him to explode. It's most likely that Wizen is using more than twice his body mass here to push down on it. Normally, when something grows in size twice, it actually gains 8 times its own mass, but Wizen seems to be around 10 times that, if anything. So I'll go ahead and times that by Earth's mass, which is 6.6 sextillion tons. With that, this means that Ashura's greatest striking force was equivalent to 66 sextillion tons. And he was able to do this with one hand, by the way. However though, that's not even Ashura's greatest strength feat. As Ashura the Destructor, he could just destroy galaxies with his bare hands. Yeah, that's how big he is. While Broly's strength feat would take around 63 sextillion tons. very, very close. Put a long story short, I think Ashura will win, as he has the greater strength, speed, durability, and versatility to his disposal, while Brawly I think would have a hard time putting this god down. This fight was actually really fun to research because I actually had to look up a ton of math terms. Turns out the E in math is like 1 times 10 to the 20th power. Huh. Guess you learn something every day. Number 2. On this list, we've seen plenty of different fights. From a fight with aliens, to a fight with mechs, to a fight with gods. But we still don't have a fight with kings. Let me fix that. King DDD is stepping into the ring and we're gonna see who he's gonna fight. King K. Rool. Amy Rose is far too weak to take on DDD, and Wario, frankly, is far too overpowered to go up against DDD. However though, K. Rool just might be right. The connection here is pretty obvious. Both are rulers of a race, K. Rool being leader of the Kremlins and King DDD being ruler of the Waddle Dees, and both are pretty stupid. But both are incredibly powerful as well. Another reason why this fight landed so high on the list is because of the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where I main K. Rool. Yes, I know, oh, you main K. Rool, you're a noob. Whatever, K. Rool can clap you out of existence. Anyway, arsenal-wise, they have a lot to go on. DDD, of course, has his trusty mount, but there's a whole lot more to this little dinky thing. It can shoot sharp projectiles, has a jet engine in it, can be ignited just by swinging it, and can be thrown like a boomerang. There's the Star Rod Hammer, which can create explosions in short bursts, and also has a giant mech. It can shoot missiles and has its own big hammer. Then there's his ultimate weapon, Mask DDD. This, quote, form gives him increased speed, strength, and durability for some reason. His ground pounds and hammer swings can now create shockwaves, which travel along the ground. His hammer also gets a pretty good upgrade as well. This one can spit out missiles and fireballs. K. Rool also has a pretty impressive arsenal as well. His most impressive weapon, in my opinion, is his stomach. His stomach can reflect projectiles and be pretty much a counterattack. Besides having a diabetic disorder, K. Rool also has his blunderbuss. Blunderbuss can shoot a giant projectile, spiked or not spiked, can shoot barrels, or even bombs. It also can suck up pretty much anyone and shoot them out again. He also has his crown, which can be thrown like a boomerang. He also has his helicopter backpack. This backpack allows him to fly upwards and pretty much get out of any sticky situation with ease. He also has a pair of boxing gloves, which pretty much can be thrown like a boomerang. He also has the Crystal Fruit, which can either heal his wounds or make him grow to super size. As for who has the advantage in what, I'd give DDD the raw strength advantage, as his hammer strings could level a skyscraper in one swing, meaning his force output is over 10,000 tons. However, though, K. Rool has survived much stronger hits than that. He was strong enough to overpower Donkey Kong and even survive a hit from him. The same Donkey Kong who was able to punch the moon out of orbit. According to Death Battle, that's equivalent to 9.9 quadrillion tons. That is 100 trillion times stronger than anything King DDD has shown. Also, DDD has shown as well that he can survive planet-busting attacks, like the time he survived an explosion that eclipsed the planet. So, DDD has strength and arsenal, while K. Rool has durability. As for who has speed, I'd probably give that to K. Rool, since he was able to move fast enough to generate strong winds. Though DDD is pretty fast himself, I'm not gonna lie. So, when it comes down to it, I think King K. Rool would win this fight, as his durability would most likely outlast DDD's arsenal, and his strength isn't strong enough to take him out. For me, this one didn't require as much research as the other fights. That's also another reason why it's higher. However though, this fight is really basic. That's also another reason why it's not extremely of a long entry. Their feats are laid out there, plain and simple. And not only that though, it's easy to calculate their strength and speed. Well, to wrap this up, all I have to say is, long live the king. Alright, before we get to our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Green Lantern vs. Nova. This was originally going to be the Marvel vs. DC fight for this list, but it got replaced with Martian Manhunter vs. Vision. Vega vs. Baraka. 2 claw-wielding warriors fighting to the death? What's not to love? Juggernaut vs. Bane. This is a much better version of Venom vs. Bane. Nothing against that fight, I just think Bane is a better match for Juggernaut. Josuke Higashikata vs. Garnet. This one was really close to making the list, but unfortunately it got beaten out at the last minute. Emperor Palpatine vs. Lord Voldemort. Another Star Wars vs. Harry Potter matchup that is commonly requested. Aquaman vs. Namor. This one only got an honorable mention because I do like the Aquaman movie that just came out, but I don't know anything about Namor. General Grievous vs. Dr. Nefarious. There is a reason why this got an honorable mention, and you'll see at the end, but the other reason that this fight got an honorable mention is because if Genji won't fight Grievous, then Grievous can fight Dr. Nefarious then. They're pretty similar, so, I mean, why not? Plankton vs. Vlad Plasmius. Battle of Nickelodeon's deadliest villains? What's not to love? The only reason this got onto the honorable mentions list is because of Jimmy vs. Dexter. The Beyonder vs. the Anti-Monitor. I'm not sure about this fight because of Beyonder getting retconned so much, so it only got an honorable mention. Maybe next year though. Megatron vs. Steppenwolf. I really want to see Megatron in a death battle, but I think Steppenwolf might be a bit underpowered for him to go up against, but I don't know, this fight always interests me. Junkrat vs. the Demo Man. This fight avoided the list because Overwatch was represented twice on here. Still would like to see this fight though. And finally, Inkling vs. the Blob. It's pretty obvious that Screw Attack foreshadowed this fight being the first episode of this season. But most likely it'll also be Namor vs. Aquaman, so hey, you never know. But finally, number 1. Now, most of the fights on this list were questionable. Most of them were pretty good, but some were just like, what? And I think this one is going to tip the scale to, you're crazy. My number 1 pick is something that no one will ever expect. Something that no one can guess. And that number 1 pick is Fortnite vs. PUBG. Okay, now I'm gonna have to take this entire time to explain how this isn't a bad idea at all. As of now, these two are the most popular Battle Royale games, though PUBG's fame has gone down quite a lot, while Fortnite just keeps going up. However though, both games involve unique weapons, last man standing gameplay, vehicles, and of course, cancer. The way this fight would work is that each side would have one character represented. Fortnite would probably either have John Wick, Funk Ops, or the default represented, while PUBG would have the skin with the welder mascot to represent them. And of course, they would be given everything to their disposal. Every weapon, shield potion, body armor, riot shield, yada yada yada. All of the above. Fortnite of course has your basic weapons. Sniper rifles, pistols, shotguns, SMGs, and of course, miniguns. Of course, Fortnite has a lot more variety when it comes to those basic weapons. From deagles to scars, P90s, and even a quad rocket. Fortnite also has a building mechanic. This allows them to build walls to create cover, roofs to protect them from above attacks, flooring so they can, protect themselves still, and of course stairs to get the high ground fast. However though, in order to build, they need one of 3 materials: wood, brick, or metal. And they need at least 10 of one of those, so you need 10 wood to build a stair. As for PUBG, they pretty much have the same weapons as Fortnite does, but with a few extra additions, like LMGs and the DMR, and the most broken weapon in all of gaming, a frying pan. In all seriousness though, this frying pan is ridiculous. It can kill people, and it can reflect projectiles back at opponents. Both also carry a wide variety of healing items on them to keep them alive. Both of course have band-aids and medkits to heal up their wounds. However though, they also have other shielding items. For example, Fortnite has shield potions, which gives them an invisible body armor of sorts that allows them to take extra damage, while PUBG has riot shields and body armor to reduce damage done to them. Speaking of which, PUBG also has vehicles and many different kinds. They got buggies, planes, helicopters, and of course boats. While most of Fortnite's vehicles are mainly focused on ground patrol, they do have planes though with mounted machine guns on them. So what I think decides this fight is arsenal and strategy, and unfortunately Fortnite has both of those categories locked down. I think Fortnite has the advantage when it comes to weaponry, as their weaponry is far more destructive. So for example, they have rocket launchers, grenade launchers, quad rockets, grenades, stink bombs, and clingers. So it's pretty clear that they're pretty destructive arsenal. While I won't disagree though that PUBG does have one category locked down: vehicles and shielding. The riot shield and the frying pan could protect them from any bodily harm. With all that being said, I have to go with Fortnite for the victory, as their more destructive weapons, strategic planning, and superior healing could overwhelm PUBG in the end. And yeah, there's really not much else to say about this fight. Guess Fortnite is the better game after all. And that's it. Top 10 death battles I want to see for 2019. Again, do these have a chance of getting in? Some of them, maybe. Most of them, probably not. But though, before we end the video off, I'd like to give a special shout out to someone known by the Red Runner. He's a small YouTuber who does top 10 videos, gameplay, and reactions to death battles. If you want to go check his channel out, I highly recommend you do. And speaking of which, he just released a video called Top 10 Death Battles I Want to See 2019. And if you couldn't guess, he's the reason that this video came out. He's inspired me to make this video, and to be honest with you, I've always wanted to make one of these videos anyways. And again, this is my first top 10, so it's not perfect in any way, but as time goes on, I will most likely get better at it. And the second reason he got a shout out is because he gave me a shout out in his video. I won't tell you when he gave me the shout out, because you'll have to watch it and see where it is. Now with this out of the way, I can finally get back to doing other things. Most likely I will do a lot more death battle trailers this year, but I'm gonna bring another thing back. And it's one that I've gotten a lot of hate for, and that's Plants vs. Zombies fan-made worlds. Now, do not worry, I'm done taking ideas, okay? It's a new year and a new me. I'm starting over at a blank slate. I have one world in the making right now, and that's Great Britain. That video will most likely come out near the end of February or at the beginning of March. I'm not 100% sure on it. But yeah, hopefully you guys are excited to see what I have in store. With all that out of the way, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Back from the dead.